So, who is Lillian? I'm just going to add to what has already been said. Lillian is a mother, Lillian is a grandmother of 3, and also a mother of 3 children. This is who I am, but what is it that I'm passionate about? I'm passionate about being a social entrepreneur, and how do I define that? It's about empowering those that are not empowered enough, the voiceless, to be able to help themselves going forward, not always having to wait for others. I come from a family of teachers, and I sort of deviated as a deviant a bit, and went the way that I have gone. So, one of the things that made me think, oh, maybe teaching is not for me, as you know, in our congregations, we have sometimes a minister that is coming to conduct the service, but the majority of the people are not able to follow. And this was in Afrikaans, and the minister was going to have something to say where he says, "Dit is swaar om in die donker te loop." And he needed somebody to translate that. And the translator, who was a Sotho translator, said, "Go bothata go tsamaya le sebara sa gago le fefe." And I realized, oh, maybe teaching is not for me. But what I'm going to be talking about now is about this chronic poverty that we are faced with today, the problem that is there for us, what has been done globally, what has been done locally, and also what is the status presently where we are in terms of trying to do all of that. What are the social problems that we have faced and solutions that we could be bringing in? So I would like to invite you as I speak to say what are those things that you could also think of. I just thought of some of them and put them together. But what I would like us to take right at the end is to have a collaborative, collective, which is the individuals themselves that are affected, which is the academia, which is the community, which is big business, which is government. Together, what is it that we could do together to be able to alleviate this, to be able to eradicate this? So as I take us through what I've put together, I'd like you to put at the back of your mind what is it that we could be also adding in terms of this serious problem that we are faced with. This has also been identified by the United Nations. As you know, our 8 Millennium Development Goals was all about what do we do about poverty. And to be able to do that, there were things that have been put to play, but we're almost at 2015. What has happened? We don't seem to have done much in terms of that. We're still having 2.2 billion people out there who are either very poor or they are near poor. So it shows that something is really not quite coming together in terms of what we're trying to be doing in alleviating this. Just yesterday, the press release that went out, it was a huge warning that we are still not quite denting into that. You'll remember when the World Forum was happening beginning of the year, one of the reports was also on that in terms of what is it that is happening. And it's quite shocking. We can just look at the latter part of it. It means if we were to think of ourselves here, almost every South African is poor, but there's one that is so rich out there. It's quite scary. We tried to work it around and see if we could even make it to bring it more home, and we could think of ourselves here. What does that really mean? It's a situation which is really frightening. It means we're going deeper and deeper into this black hole. It means we're not really coming out of it. So, what does that mean? it means we are at war. We are at war against this enemy called poverty. We are at war against this enemy called lack of skills, lack of knowledge, because that's what needs to take people further. Then it made me think of, I don't know, how many of you know about yesterday, today, and tomorrow? Do we? It's a plant. That plant has flowers today. It's got color, different color, so it's blooming, and then the following day, the color of the flowers change, and the last day, which is tomorrow, it's white, beautiful. But what it said to me is that we don't have to wait tomorrow to correct things that are wrong today, to correct things that are really a problem for us today. Today is what we have. Yesterday is history. And tomorrow is a dream. So we need to be doing something today. If we look at all these chronic things that we're talking about, it's things that have been going on, is things that have been part of our lives up to where we are. So it made me think that sometimes we look for a solution that is out there, a solution that is so different, and we miss something that is quite close to us. And for me, that is the indigenous knowledge, the cultural way of saving that we have called stokvels. And for those who don't know what stokvels is, it's a collective saving where people come together, they trust each other, they put money together, and the power of that is that it's more than if it was just one person. And they can give it to this one person to buy whatever that it is that they need, and the next time is the next one. But you need to have trust, you need to have the social cohesion so that it's something that you do together. And it has been done for years, it has been successful, and yes, it has been successful. Treasury has approved this, so it's not a pyramid scheme. Also, our Reserve Bank has approved it as one of the ways that can be used. So, what is it that we can bring into this? It's about social entrepreneurship. And sometimes we think of social entrepreneurship as something that is about handing out. It's something that is feeling sorry for the poor. For me, social entrepreneurship is about what is it that is a problem? What is the solution that I can bring so that the people themselves can help themselves rather than where it's a handout kind of situation. Now, how is it different from your entrepreneurship? Here it's different in the sense that the entrepreneur is mostly looking at the profit for himself or the dividends for the shareholders, whereas the social entrepreneur is looking at what is it about the environment? What about the human capital? What is the social cohesion? How do we go on? But also looking for profit, but not that being the first thing that is looked at. Now, this suggested solution that I'm talking about, of the stokvels, we have seen researches and researches, but the research has always been about what is a stokvel for? Is it for groceries? Nowadays, it's even quite popular that if I die, I need to be buried in a casket, I need to be taken to my last place in a limousine, even if I've never been there before. It's quite interesting that we have become so much a community of dying than a community of living. Isn't it a challenge that we should be improving the quality of our life rather than the quality of our burials? And we find ourselves sometimes getting into deeper expense because we have sort of moved in that direction. It's also looked at as for groceries, for other things. And what I'm saying is that this has been inculcated, this has been proven to be working. So while we're looking for all other solutions, the BEEs and all the other things that are there, There is a captive vehicle that is there that has been proven to be working. All I'm saying is that, can we look at this as we're still doing our saving, we're still doing what we do, withdraw, go buy grocery, maybe buy a casket, maybe go in a limousine to the graves. But what I'm also saying is that let's take a percentage of that and start businesses that we can sustain. And the benefit of that is that people are not worried that I'm going to be owing so-and-so, when is the Mashonisi coming to break my knee because I owe them, is that you know the money is there, the money is yours. All what is needed is to be able to match the indigenous knowledge that we're talking about, the culture of saving that we're talking about, with the business skills. So, remember I said at the beginning, what could we do as academia? What can we do as the economists? What can we do as government? All of us as we sit, but starting with us, the individuals that are in that chronic poverty. What is it that we can do together? Unfortunately, while we come with all of that, there's also a question of, there are misconceptions as to what is it that is out there. Like I've said, sometimes stokvels are just taken as something that it's for pyramid schemes. We think you can only do good there, but that can be part of business. Dan Palato, if you haven't listened to his talk on TED, it would do you good to do that. It's quite interesting. Also, another conception is that those who are in poverty have no buying power, and that has also been proven not to be true as we look at that research that has been done. But sometimes, as we know, those who are psychologists, if they keep saying to you, you are stupid, you tend to get to that point where you feel you are stupid. So because it has been said over and over, the poor get to that point where they think maybe they can't be able to do business, but they can. We have a situation where they have already done it locally, our own people. They are doing business using that method, and they have avoided having to get big loans, worry about the payback, as I've already indicated. So, we can eradicate poverty, we can get out of that squalor, but also it challenges us as individuals. What is my responsibility? We cannot sit and wait for something. We cannot sit and wait for government. We cannot sit and wait for big land out there. We have big spaces that we're not utilizing at our schools. Can we do gardens there? Food security, we're supposed to be short of food. Well, our academia, our young people that are coming out, how can they help us to do that in the communities? How do we marry that technical know-how, the business know-how, the community know-how, and in that integrated fashion, be able to do something in order to eradicate the poverty? So, in a way, we're saying, wow, at last, we can get out there and be able to get out of here and sail into a better place. We can smile. And if you remember the song of Johnny Clegg, unfortunately with my flu, I can't really take it away. I would have loved us to do that, because that's what it is. We need to stop feeling sorry for ourselves. We need to say, what is it that we have? Well, how can we utilize it? How can we bring back hope to ourselves, to the people? How could we bring back the self-esteem? Yes, we need to get in there. Yes, we need Kosieza and cross into that better space that we're looking for. Our children, who are our future tomorrow. That's why we're doing all of this today, so that our tomorrow is a better tomorrow. Some of us did not have that opportunity to be able to do that. So what we're doing is firefighting. We need to say, what is the cause of the problem? How do we get down there? How do we address that cause of the problem rather than be firefighting, which we have to do. Unfortunately, we're dealing with human beings. It's not like filing, where you can say, I'll put this paper here, I'll come back and I'll sort it out. Life goes on. So we can't stand and say we're waiting for tomorrow to do whatever. We need to do it today. As we have heard right at the opening, the things that are happening to us are happening today. So, what am I saying? I'm saying we do have that collaborative, collective power for negotiation, for skills, because it's not only about money. We could be bringing in, what skills have I got to bring into this? What networks have I got to bring into this? As business, as banks, if I'm ABSA and I'm taking that much from the Stokvels, why am I not helping them to do business? Because I'm saying the only way that I do business, I do it with individuals, I don't do it with groups. Can we change? Can we shift that paradigm to be able to say, what is it that we have? As academia, the theories that we're putting together, can we put up a model that says if the Stokvel has got so much, we can take percentage X, which I know nothing about, and we can be able to do business, to sustain what we're having, so that, remember I said at the beginning, it's about sustaining the growth in our businesses, in our economy, so that we don't stay as poor as we are. Just want to say thank you very much for listening to me, and I always believe talk has to come to action. So those who feel they are ready to get to war, into that helicopter that I showed you, and say, how do we think differently? Because we can't keep doing what we have done and expect a different solution. Thank you very much.